Uhtred of Bebbanburg, the protagonist of The Last Kingdom, was inspired by the real-life historical figure Uhtred the Bold, a powerful nobleman in 10th century Northumbria. Unlike the fictionalized version set in the late 9th century, the real Uhtred lived during a time when England was becoming a unified kingdom. He was the son of Waltheof, the elderman of Bamborough, and came from a long line of rulers who controlled the stronghold of Bamborough on the Northumbrian coast. Uhtred first appeared in historical records in 995 when he played a key role in relocating the remains of St. Cuthbert, the patron saint of Northumbria, to a new cathedral in Durham. This act gained him favor and influence, eventually leading to a strategic marriage with the daughter of Bishop Alden, through which he acquired significant land holdings. In 1006, when the Scots, led by King Malcolm II, invaded Northumbria, Uhtred took command of his father's forces and successfully defended Durham, earning the title Uhtred the Bold. His victories solidified his reputation as a fierce warrior and loyal leader. He was rewarded by King Athelred with the title of Elderman of Bamborough and later York, briefly uniting Northumbria under his rule. As England faced Viking invasions, Uhtred initially submitted to King Sweyn Forkbeard in 1013 but later realigned with King Athelred upon Sweyn's sudden death. However, his shifting allegiances led to his downfall. In 1016, he was ambushed and killed by Thurbrand the Hold, with Canute's approval, igniting a blood feud that lasted generations. His legacy lived on through history and was revived in The Last Kingdom, written by Bernard Cornwell, who discovered he was a descendant of Uhtred the Bold. Uhtred the Bold lived in the 10th century, a time when England was evolving into a unified kingdom under a single ruler. Unlike the fictional Uhtred of Bebbanburg from The Last Kingdom, who lived in the late 9th century when England was divided into multiple kingdoms, the historical Uhtred was born into a more consolidated England. He was the son of Waltheof, the elderman of Bamborough, a noble family that had ruled parts of Northumbria for generations. Uhtred's first notable appearance in historical records was in 995 when he played a crucial role in the relocation of St. Cuthbert's remains to Durham, a highly significant event for the region. This act not only strengthened his political standing but also earned him valuable land through his marriage to the daughter of Bishop Alden. His growing influence positioned him as one of the most powerful figures in Northumbria. By 1006, Uhtred faced his greatest military challenge when King Malcolm II of Scotland launched an invasion into Northumbria. With his father too old to fight and other northern leaders failing to act, Uhtred took command of the Northumbrian forces and led them to victory in a decisive battle near Durham. His victory earned him the title, Uhtred the Bold, and secured his appointment as the Elderman of Bamborough, even while his father was still alive. His power expanded further when he was later made the Elderman of York, uniting all of Northumbria under his rule. However, this period of relative stability was short-lived, as England soon faced external threats from Viking invaders. In 1013, when King Sweyn Forkbeard of Denmark invaded, Uhtred submitted to him but later realigned with King Athelred after Sweyn's death. This shift in loyalty ultimately led to his downfall, as he was ambushed and killed in 1016, marking the tragic end of a remarkable warrior's life. His legacy endured, inspiring Bernard Cornwell's The Last Kingdom series centuries later. Uhtred the Bold was raised as the son of a nobleman, receiving training in both warfare and diplomacy, essential skills for a future ruler. Coming from a powerful Northumbrian lineage, he was likely educated in strategy, swordsmanship, and governance, preparing him for the challenges of leadership. His first recorded historical act took place in 995 when he supervised the relocation of St. Cuthbert's remains. St. Cuthbert was a revered figure in Northumbria, and his remains had been moved multiple times to protect them from Viking raids. When a new cathedral was to be established in Durham, Uhtred played a key role in ensuring the safe transfer of the saint's relics. This act not only demonstrated his commitment to Northumbria's religious and political stability, but also increased his influence among both the clergy and local nobility. As a reward for his involvement, Uhtred married the daughter of Bishop Alden. This marriage was more than a personal union. It was a strategic alliance that granted him significant land holdings tied to the church. With this newfound wealth and power, Uhtred positioned himself as a dominant figure in Northumbrian politics. However, his skills in war would soon prove even more valuable. In 1006, King Malcolm II of Scotland launched a massive invasion into Northumbria, threatening Uhtred's lands. With his father too old to lead and other nobles failing to act, Uhtred seized command of Northumbrian forces. He decisively defeated the Scots near Durham, earning him the title Uhtred the Bold. His victory not only secured his people's safety, but also solidified his reputation as a formidable leader. This early success laid the foundation for his future prominence, eventually leading to his rule over both Bamborough and York. However, shifting allegiances and Viking invasions would later shape his fate, leading to his eventual assassination in 1016. Uhtred the Bold's marriage to Bishop Alden's daughter was a pivotal moment in his rise to power. This union was not just a personal relationship, but a strategic alliance that significantly strengthened his political standing. By marrying into a powerful ecclesiastical family, Uhtred gained the support of the church, which was a major force in medieval England. As part of the marriage, he was granted several estates that had previously belonged to the church, further increasing his wealth and territorial influence. At the time, land ownership was a key measure of power, and these new estates provided Uhtred with greater resources to command loyalty from local lords and warriors. His increased wealth allowed him to maintain a strong military presence, which would prove crucial in the years to come. The alliance with the church also bolstered his legitimacy as a ruler, as religious institutions played a vital role in shaping political affairs. However, Uhtred's growing influence would soon be tested. In 1006, when King Malcolm II of Scotland launched an invasion into Northumbria, Uhtred found himself in a position where he had to prove his leadership. With his father too old to fight and other northern nobles failing to act, he took command of the Northumbrian forces. His victory over the Scots at Durham was decisive and earned him the title Uhtred the Bold. This triumph not only secured Northumbria's borders, but also solidified his position as a key military and political figure. His marriage had already provided him with land and influence, but his battlefield success propelled him further. King Athelred rewarded him by appointing him as Ealdorman of Bamborough and later, Ealdorman of York. This marriage had set the foundation for his future prominence, helping him unite Northumbria under his rule, though his shifting loyalties in England's turbulent political landscape would eventually lead to his downfall. In 1006, Uhtred the Bold proved his military prowess by leading a successful defense against a Scottish invasion. King Malcolm II of Scotland launched a large-scale attack on Northumbria, raiding the countryside and eventually laying siege to the city of Durham. At the time, England was already struggling with Viking incursions in the south, and King Athelred was unable to send reinforcements. Additionally, Uhtred's father, Waltheof, was too old to lead an army, and other northern leaders hesitated to act. Recognizing the urgent need for defense, Uhtred took command of his father's forces. He quickly assembled an army of Northumbrians and launched a counterattack against the Scots. The battle near Durham was brutal, but Uhtred's leadership and tactical skills ensured a decisive victory. The Scottish forces suffered heavy losses, and to send a clear warning, the heads of the fallen warriors were mounted on spikes along the city walls. This victory cemented Uhtred's reputation as a formidable warrior and leader. His bravery and military success earned him the title Uhtred the Bold, a name that reflected both his courage and strategic acumen. As a reward for his loyalty and effectiveness in battle, King Athelred appointed him as the new Ealdorman of Bamborough, even though his father was still alive. Uhtred's triumph in 1006 was a turning point in his life, elevating him from a noble warrior to one of the most powerful men in Northumbria. However, his growing influence also made him a target in the ever-changing political landscape of England. Though his military success brought him great honor, it also set the stage for future conflicts that would ultimately lead to his tragic downfall. After his decisive victory against the Scots in 1006, Uhtred the Bold's status as a warrior and leader was firmly established. Recognizing his military skill and loyalty, King Athelred appointed him as the new ealdorman of Bamborough, even though his father, Waltheof, was still alive. This appointment was highly unusual, as titles were typically inherited upon a ruler's death. However, Uhtred had already proven himself capable of commanding the Northumbrian forces, and his troops were now loyal to him. His leadership ensured stability in the northern region at a time when England was under constant threat from both Viking and Scottish invasions. Uhtred's power continued to grow when King Athelred ordered the execution of the ealdorman of York, Ælfhelm. Ælfhelm's failure to defend against past threats had made him unreliable, and his death left a power vacuum in southern Northumbria. As a reward for his military success and loyalty, Uhtred was granted control over York, effectively uniting Northumbria under his rule. This consolidation of power was significant, as Northumbria had long been divided between its northern and southern regions, often ruled by different leaders. As both ealdorman of Bamborough and York, Uhtred became one of the most powerful figures in England. His rule brought a brief period of stability, but the political landscape remained volatile. Viking raids persisted, and internal power struggles within the English monarchy threatened the fragile unity of the kingdom. Despite his strong position, Uhtred was forced to navigate shifting allegiances to maintain his rule. Though his leadership helped strengthen Northumbria, his rise to power also made him a target. His eventual assassination in 1016 by Thurbrand the Bold, likely sanctioned by King Canute, marked the end of his rule and the beginning of a long-lasting blood feud. However, his legacy as a warrior and leader endured, inspiring Bernard Cornwell's The Last Kingdom series centuries later. In 1013, England faced a major crisis when King Sweyn Forkbeard of Denmark launched a full-scale invasion. Sweyn's forces swept across the country, leaving devastation in their wake. As the Danish army advanced, many English nobles had to decide between resisting or submitting to the new ruler. Uhtred, recognizing the overwhelming strength of Sweyn's forces, made a strategic choice. He pledged allegiance to the Danish king rather than risk destruction. Sweyn's invasion forced King Athelred into exile in Normandy, and for a brief time, Sweyn was accepted as the ruler of England. However, his reign was short-lived. Just 5 weeks after claiming the throne, he died unexpectedly in early 1014. With Sweyn's death, Athelred saw an opportunity to reclaim his kingdom. Many English nobles who had previously submitted to Sweyn, including Uhtred, quickly switched their allegiance back to Athelred. To reinforce his loyalty, Uhtred went a step further. He married Ethelred's daughter, Ælfjafu. This marriage strengthened his ties to the royal family and secured his position in the English court. Uhtred's decision to realign with Athelred was a calculated move, ensuring that he remained in power as England's leadership shifted once again. Despite his renewed loyalty, England remained unstable. Sweyn's son, Canute, still sought the English throne, leading to further conflict. Uhtred's shifting allegiances, from Saxon to Dane and back again, highlighted the complexities of survival in this turbulent period. Though he remained a powerful figure, his political maneuvering ultimately contributed to his downfall. In 1016, while attempting to reaffirm his loyalty to Canute, he was ambushed and killed, marking the tragic end of his remarkable life. His legacy, however, endured through history and later inspired the Last Kingdom series. As England descended into chaos following King Sweyn Forkbeard's death, a fierce struggle for the throne emerged between his son, Canute, and King Ethelred's son, Edmund Ironside. Uhtred the Bold, ever a pragmatic leader, initially sided with Edmund Ironside, who was known for his exceptional skills as a warrior and leader. Together, they launched campaigns against the Danish forces, attempting to push Canute's army out of England. Uhtred and Edmund fought side by side, rallying troops and striking against Danish strongholds in a desperate effort to reclaim control of the kingdom. Despite their efforts, the conflict took a turn when Canute, displaying his own military prowess, invaded Northumbria while Uhtred was away campaigning. Realizing that his lands and people were vulnerable, Uhtred was forced into a difficult decision. Facing the threat of destruction and knowing he could not defeat Canute's forces alone, he chose to submit. Just as he had once pledged loyalty to Sweyn Forkbeard to preserve his power, Uhtred now swore allegiance to Canute to protect his lands and his people. However, this act of submission did not guarantee his survival. Canute, wary of Uhtred's history of shifting allegiances, likely saw him as a potential threat. Soon after swearing loyalty, Uhtred was summoned to meet with Canute. On his journey, he was ambushed and assassinated by Thurbrand the Bold, a rival nobleman acting with Canute's approval. This betrayal marked the end of Uhtred's rule and sparked a violent blood feud between his family and Thurbrand's descendants that lasted for generations. Though his life ended in treachery, Uhtred's legacy as a fierce warrior and strategist endured. His story, filled with loyalty, betrayal, and the struggle for power, later inspired Bernard Cornwell's The Last Kingdom series, ensuring his name would not be forgotten. Uhtred the Bold's rise to power had been marked by strategic alliances, shifting loyalties, and military victories, but his downfall came through betrayal. After years of navigating the turbulent politics of England, he was ultimately ambushed and murdered by Thurbrand the Bold, a rival nobleman acting with the approval of King Canute. This assassination was not just a personal attack, it set off a brutal and long-lasting blood feud between their families. Uhtred had once been a trusted leader, serving both Saxon and Danish rulers to protect his lands and people. However, his history of switching allegiances made him a target. After being forced to swear loyalty to Canute, he was summoned for a meeting. On his way, he and 40 of his men were ambushed and killed, a calculated move by Canute and his allies to eliminate a potential threat. This act of treachery enraged Uhtred's family, leading to a cycle of revenge that lasted for generations. His son, Uhtred, later avenged his father by killing Thurbrand, but the feud did not end there. Thurbrand's son, Karl, retaliated by killing Uhtred, continuing the cycle of violence. The blood feud stretched into the 11th century, with each generation seeking retribution for past wrongs. Though Uhtred's life ended in betrayal, his legacy endured. His warrior spirit and leadership inspired legends, and centuries later, his story was reimagined in Bernard Cornwell's The Last Kingdom series. Despite his tragic fate, Uhtred remained a symbol of resilience and honor, ensuring his name would not be forgotten. Uhtred the Bold's remarkable life, filled with battles, shifting loyalties, and political intrigue, did not fade into obscurity. Centuries later, his story became the inspiration for the Last Kingdom series, written by Bernard Cornwell. Cornwell, a renowned historical fiction author, discovered that he was a direct descendant of Uhtred the Bold. This revelation sparked his interest in bringing Uhtred's legacy to life through storytelling. Though The Last Kingdom is a fictionalized account, it draws heavily from real historical events and figures. Cornwell crafted the character of Uhtred of Bebbanburg based on his ancestor, but set the story in the 9th century rather than the 10th and 11th centuries, when the real Uhtred lived. This creative decision allowed Cornwell to weave a narrative that showcased the struggles between Saxons and Vikings during the formation of England. The series follows Uhtred as he navigates shifting allegiances, much like the real Uhtred did in his lifetime. It captures his resilience, military prowess, and the difficult choices he had to make for survival. While the fictional Uhtred's adventures are dramatized, they echo the challenges faced by his historical counterpart, who served both Saxon and Danish rulers in a time of constant warfare and political instability. With the success of the Last Kingdom novels and their adaptation into a popular television series, Uhtred the Bold's legacy has reached a global audience. His story, once known only to historians, has now become widely recognized, ensuring that his name and legend live on. Through Bernard Cornwell's storytelling, Uhtred the Bold has been immortalized as one of history's greatest warriors, a figure whose life continues to captivate audiences centuries after his death.